This is Author Conversations, the Stenhouse Publishers podcast. In the first installment of our interview with Rick Wormeli, Rick explained the background of his latest book, Differentiation. In today's podcast, Rick suggests that assessment is the first step toward differentiating instruction in the classroom.
To get started on differentiated instruction, teachers might be overwhelmed at first. There are so many different ideas and tools and books and recommendations out there. But one of the things that I recommend is that they begin to look at the role assessment plays in their classroom. Are they willing to sit down, maybe a few days to a week ahead of time, and just pre-assess the kids? Whatever format it might take. Now, of course, in that pre-assessment, you've got to have already written your final summative assessment, and then you pick off small chunks of that to put in your pre-assessment. So you begin with the end in mind, like Stephen Covey would remind us to do. So now I have this pre-assessment. I've given it to my students. What do I do with that? To sit down and actually mark the papers or the products, analyze the data, and then think reflectively, well, what can I do in the very first day of this new unit I'm about to do, this differentiated unit, that would make a difference, that would really help those kids learn differently, or who learn differently, to be successful in the classroom. The goal, of course, is to maximize instruction over that could otherwise have been achieved if you did just one-size-fits-all lessons. And very few of us really are in that one-size-fits-all. We all learn at different rates and in different ways. It's okay to modify things ever so slightly. It might just simply be preferential seating up front. That's what I can do. I can move some kids up front because I know those kids can get distracted back by the back corner or the window. That might be the extent of my differentiation. But then I'm open to beginning to play with some of the ideas. One of the very first ones is to pre-assess and actually adjust your instruction as a result of what you learn in the pre-assessment. And then certainly as you are formatively assessing along the way, the ongoing assessment you do, how would I adjust that? In fact, a principal or any supervisor should be able to walk down the hallway and hear us or see us and say, hey, without any preparation, no planning ahead of time, ask, so how did assessment inform one of your decisions this week? And that's the answer to that should just trickle off our tongues. So I think beginning to incorporate the role of assessment in a differentiated class and adjusting instruction as a result will be a great first place to start. Of course, one of the things you can do simultaneously with that is begin to know your students. Identify some of the tools or techniques for identifying multiple intelligences or learning style differences. Being able to ascertain different levels of readiness within kids. How do you get to know your kids rather than just presuming they are this typical 6th grader or 10th grader or whatever? And then how would you adjust things? That would be great. And if you did one idea per month, one of the tools you've heard per month, you're doing just fine. I recommend everybody give themselves about 3 years to get really up to speed, and eventually they'll get to the point where they realize there's so much more to learn. But they're having a lot more of those aha moments in the classroom with their students, the kind of moments that make you go, oh, that's why I went into teaching. Because kids are having those little mini epiphanies, and you realize you are making that difference. Hopefully something you thought about as you went into the profession.
To learn more about Rick's work, check out Differentiation, From Planning to Practice, Grades 6 to 12, available online at Stenhouse Publishers and through your Stenhouse distributor. Thanks for listening.